So today is the fourth part of our Spiral ecosystem news. In this part, we will say you about the latest Roadrunner news and the plans about the Roadrunner ecosystem improvement. Pavel will tell you about Spiral framework and the news about the Spiral framework. Hello, Pavel. And Sergey, our newcomer, will say us about its work with the temporal, and he got for us a very cool presentation. So we'll wait for it. So yeah, let's start from my side. I'll show you the. As usual, I'll show you the browser and what we released in our version 2.9. So it's not a very big release here, but mostly we were concentrated on the bug resolving and like introducing some very important features like Grafana. So starting from the version 2.9, we have a folder inside the Roadrunner repository called Grafana. So in this folder, you may find a Grafana dashboard in JSON format. So you can import, you can improve it, you can like do something exciting with it, or share your experience with us, how we can improve this. So the next, we also added, thanks for the to the Pasha, we added a management API to our services plugin. So it located inside our Spiral organization, Spiral Roadrunner services. So it's thanks to Pavel. Here you can find some documentation, how to use it, how to communicate with this API, how it works within the Roadrunner. So basically it supports 4 targets. It's like you can on the fly create services, you can check the statuses, you can restart the service or terminate the service. Basically, so the service itself is some kind of our re-implementation of systemd daemons. So and now you have the ability to control your service via the RPC. So it's very exciting news, I guess. The second is the last but not least news about our site. As I promised, our team, our great team, create a new site for the Roadrunner, and now we can fill up it with the latest changes in the documentation. So now we start working on documentation improvement, on the improvement for the errors, for the user experience, and so on. So for example, you can see how it improved. Let's see the service plugin documentation, and you can see that you see the basic configuration. You may see the description as usual, but it's like more likely to ice these colors, I guess. So it's very exciting. Also, the latest changes for the services API you can find here. We have those calls, but it's also covered by the PHP API. Another news, as I said in our chat, we have a change to our HTTP plugin. So it's very important, guys, because we moved all of our documentation, middleware and documentation to the separate plugin. So now trusted subnets can be used only in conjunction with the proxy IP parser. So this is done because no one, when user don't need a trusted subnets functionality, but this functionality exists inside the HTTP plugin. So user pays for the existence, for the only existence of this functionality, not that because it want to use it, but just only for existence. Now that functionality moved to the separate middleware, and you can easily turn on or turn off it just with one line of configuration, like add proxy IP parser or just remove it. We fixed some bugs in 2.9.1 release, and also we moved to a new, let's say, release model with our nightly functionality. So we don't want to break your experience with the, let's say, user experience. We don't want to break some stable releases. And because of that, we moved a nightly functionality to a separate build tags. What does it mean? It means that if you see an alpha release and beta and as well, obviously, release candidate, those releases are treated like nightly. So those are not stable releases. Those releases will contain some experimental functionality. So you don't need to recognize or remember some weird keys for example, to turn on the streaming, like experimental functionality, streaming true, or local activity true, or something else weird. But you only need to know that if you want to try the latest and the greatest features, you only need to download an alpha, beta, or release candidate build. All of such functionality until it will be tested and covered by test at least in 80% will not be released. So this is very important for us, and for sure for you as our users who will use this product and will enjoy the stability of this product. So yeah, this is it from my side. I guess nothing else I can add, but we have two really nice presentations from Pavel Buchev and Sergey Zhuk. So Pavel, the floor is yours. Pavel, please turn on the microphone. I can hear you. Could you please try now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah,
6, 7.
yeah. Everything is right.
You hear me? Yeah, good.
Yeah.
You hear me? My name is Pavel, and Valery asked me to tell you about the Spiral Framework latest news because there are new features we have not yet presented to our community, and that's why I'm here. Okay, this is my first public stream in English. So first I want to apologize for my English in advance. And now I will tell you about the latest changes in the Spiral Framework ecosystem. The Spiral Framework used to have tight coupling with the Roadrunner application server, and we always had a problem with adding new Roadrunner features into the Spiral Framework. Uh, and as you have noticed, Valery released a huge pile of useful plugins for Roadrunners and also features, and there were no opportunities to add support for all of them for the various reasons. The first reason is the Spiral framework has tight coupling with the first version of Roadrunner. And the second reason is because Roadrunner frequently releases new versions, and new versions are released weekly by Valeria, and the Spiral framework can't keep up with the new updates. And using separate packages will help us to integrate new Roadrunner features much faster because we don't need to release the whole framework every time, but only the package. And the last reason is because the Spiral framework allows developers to use not only the Roadrunner application. Not every developer needs Roadrunner in the Spiral framework. That's why we decided to separate it. Uh, and decide to move Roadrunner into a separate package with its own release cycle and create new components for the Spiral framework that will help or that will be used for integration with Roadrunner. And at first, I want to tell about these components. Uh, I will briefly enumerate new components. First of them, it's cache. It's cache provides features conveying simply to advanced caching needs. It natively implements PSR 16 and it supports cache storages like file and array out of the box. But if you want to use it with Roadrunner, you have to install Roadrunner bridge package that I will uh, show you later, and also console commands to clear cache, etc. Next component is queue. It was created to replace Spiral jobs package and to remove dependency from Roadrunner. And now the community can create and share their own queue implementation for the framework. Um, it supports sync driver of the box. And if you need use Roadrunner jobs plugin in your project, you just need to add the Roadrunner bridge package in your application, and uh, the package also provides an ability to manage Roadrunner jobs pipelines through PHP code. Okay, broadcasting. Uh, the component was created to replace the Spiral broadcast package. Oh my god, 1 second. To okay, to replace a Spiral broadcast package and to remove dependency from Roadrunner also. Now community can create and share their own broadcast drivers implementation for the framework, and for example, pusher, able drivers, etc. Uh, supports null and lock drivers out of the box, and we will add support for the Roadrunner broadcast plugin in a couple of days. Okay, next part is about deprecations. We used to have a lot of packages in the Spiral framework like CycleRM, Cycle Database Migrations, and a lot of Roadrunner packages. And we moved uh, and there you can see the packages we have moved out from the Spiral framework into the separate packages like Cycle Bridge and Roadrunner Bridge. What about wait, what about Roadrunner Bridge? It's a new package. Uh, uh, 1 second. It's a new package that replaced deprecated Spiral framework components, and the package integrates with the Spiral framework through the components I mentioned earlier on the previous slides, like queue, cache, and broadcast. The features that Roadrunner supports are listed on the screen. It's queue, cache, HTTP, gRPC, broadcast, and service manager. Uh, what about gRPC? Uh, we have also created yet another Spiral gRPC skeleton package. It's a shared package made for the microservices based on gRPC. You can use this package as shared package uh, with PHP code generation from proto files, uh, and it allows you to generate PHP code from proto files such as DTO, service interface, and clients for communication between services. Uh, and the package helps to easily integrate microservice architecture into your Spiral application. Temporal bridge, yet another useful package. It's one of the interesting feature of the Spiral framework. Its integration with the temporal service, and we have created a Spiral temporal bridge package that takes care of the running of the application workflows such as cron jobs, delayed or repeated jobs within any time range with event sourcing. Also, there are not so many PHP frameworks that have integration with the Spiral service. And uh, here you can see the main features of the package. Temporal service integration through the Roadrunner workflow, PHP files generator, activity PHP files generator, and workflow and activity presets. Um, Valery mentioned earlier, we have a new package that called Roadrunner services, and uh, uh, starting from the most recent version, Roadrunner 2.9, the option to manage service plugin through the RPC has been added, and we have uh, added a quite useful and simple PHP package with which uh, help you to manage services from PHP code. Uh, next, what about Spiral packages? We've created a new organization that called Spiral Packages, and there you can see or find some useful packages like scheduler that will help you to manage scheduled tasks on your server. Discoverer, it's like uh, discover bootloaders from a composer JSON file. Database seeder, TQRS notifications, event bus, and simple PHP server. That's all. But you can join our community and create your own packages. Uh, and last news about Spiral Framework version 3.0. Uh, we are currently working on the uh, new version of the Spiral framework. We estimate to complete it by July, and here you can see some of the key features of it. It's PHP 8.1 and where to get rid of all the deprecations, packages, classes, etc. Spiral jobs, Spiral broadcast, Roadrunner, first version of Roadrunner, cyclorm, database migrations, move out data grid into a separate package, maybe a dumper, debugger, and also we are going to redesign exceptions handler. It should support custom renders, for example, Spot ignition package or Maduro collision for rendering exception in a console. Also support for custom reporters and etc. A lot of tasks. And last one, spiral testing. We've created yet another package, spiral testing. You can use it for testing your code in your application, and the package ships with convenient helpers methods that allow you to expressly test your application. And here you can see features that it supports. Testing HTTP methods, queue, jobs, console commands, configs, file system, mailer, and also container. That's all, guys. Thank you for watching.
Thank you very much, Pavel. That's very exciting.
Yeah, thank you.
That's really great. I'm waiting for the version 3, and I hope it will be a great release. And I'm sure that once framework got in your hands, it becomes a really great product. Okay, so let's move to our next presenter. This is Sergey Zhuk, our head of temporal, let's say, development in our team. So, Sergey, give me a second. I'll show you presentation.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure. You're online, Sergey. Please, the floor is yours.
Okay, my turn. Hi, everybody. My name is Sergey, and today I will tell you about the things what's going on in PHP temporal SDK. So the last things that happened, we released a new way of activity registration. We added functionality with activity finalizer, and now I'm working on local activity, and we are trying to implement testing framework. So step by step about all of this. First, activity registration. So previously, what happened? We used method register activity implementation, and where we provide an instance of activity. And this works fine, but it is up to you as a developer to make your activity stateless. Within a single worker, because within a single worker, the instance lives, and if it has some state, it will persist between different activity calls. So we have changed it, and now you can register your activity the following way. Now, each time you try to invoke an activity, a new instance will be created. The activity is called, and this instance is removed from the memory. If your activity is simple enough, and it can be instantiated with a new keyword, you can provide just a class name, and SDK is clever enough to instantiate an object. Of course, in real application, your activity will have some external dependencies. So it may be a code from Spiral, Symfony, or Laravel framework, or whatever, where you need dependency injection container and all of this stuff. You can provide so-called factory. So where you can, for example, this way, where you can pass your dependencies and tell the SDK the way your instance of your activity should be created. Also, if you use, for example, some container to build an object, this callable will receive an instance of reflection class with the name of the activity that is required. Also, in complex applications, there may be situations when just remove an activity from the memory is not enough. So sometimes you need to clean up some resources or something like that. In this case, you may register so-called finalizer. What is it? It is also a callable, which is called each way after is called after each activity invocation. And it doesn't matter whether the activity succeeded or failed, the finalizer is called always. This is already released and you can use it in SDK. What we are working now? Local activity. Local activity actually is a bit of advanced topic, and if you don't know what it is, chances high that you don't need it. But of course, it will be nice to know that such features, such tools exist. So a little bit of theory. Okay, in temporal, we have activity. So activity is a single well-defined action, either short or long running, which is calling another service, I don't know, working with some file, sending an email, whatever. And difference between a regular activity and a local one is that a local activity is executed in the same worker with the workflow. There is no need to go to the server, work with the queue, then go back to the worker, and so on. So we may say that from the high level that local activity is executed right here inside the workflow. For example, a use case when we need to quickly log something on disk, write some file, and running a regular activity may be a little overhead for it. Sounds interesting, but of course, with such feature, with advantages, there will be some limitations. So this local activity, it shouldn't last too long, because actually it is. You may consider it as a workflow execution, and while this local activity is being executed, the workflow doesn't respond. So it freezes, it doesn't respond, for example, to signals. So how does it look in the code? A regular activity we write like this. We provide an interface, activity interface, and a method. To make this activity local, you need to just change one line of code and say that now it is local activity interface. And that's it. From this point, temporal will consider it as a local activity. Also, one important point here that local activity has its own so-called local activity options. You can't use activity options from a regular activity. And how do they differ? Local activity options, they have only 3 options. We have start to close timeout, schedule to close timeout, and retry options. That's it. And the last, and I think the most important feature that we are working on is testing framework. So temporal Java SDK, they released their own test server, so-called in-memory test server. It has some limited functionality, but it can be used to test your workflows, your activities, and so on. For example, it is very convenient to test such things as timeouts and so on. When, for example, in your workflow, you have a logic that do this, and after a month with this condition, do that. And how can we test it? So this testing framework, it provides a tool where you can time skip something, and the server pretends that the month has already passed. We are working on it. We know that the community requires such tools, so I hope we will release it. That's it.
We will definitely release
I'm
it.
done. Yes, of course.
Thank you very much, Sergey. So, as a concise feedback from one of our users, I'll just put a few words in your presentation, Sergey, that what is temporal. So, temporal is a distributed engine, like where you can manage workflows and activities. So, workflows, you can imagine that you have a pizza. You have to create a pizza, like. So the first step is to get a components for this pizza, then put this to the like iron or microwave oven or wherever you want to put the pizza. So the third step is to eat the pizza. So the whole process called workflow. Workflow consists of 3 steps where we prepare pizza, put this into the oven, and then we eat the pizza. So those are activities. On the one of our projects, we replaced the whole HTTP layer thanks for the temporal, because we replaced all HTTP calls with the calls to the temporal server. So basically, temporal consists of temporal server, which managed all workflows, all activities, and temporal workers, which located on the servers in your applications. Temporal workers consist of workflows and activities. So those workflow and activities are managed via the temporal server. So you can make a call, like for example, bake me a pizza. And this call goes to the temporal server. Temporal server will find a worker which will bake your pizza, send a signal, like prepare the pizza and send the result back to you. So it's a very basic explanation, but more in-depth explanation you can find, of course, on the temporal.io site. It's a very exciting feature. So, and you definitely have to look at this. So just a few words. I'm sorry, Sergey, just to explain.
Yeah, I can also add some words from the developer point of view. Why do we need this? Because, for example, we have distributed systems, we have several microservices, and they communicate. And a regular thing, the way they communicate, you often have, I don't know, different queues, for example, Rabbit or whatever, and you have to manage all this stuff. You have to manage queues. You have to write your own alerts. You have to write your own monitoring. You have to manage all. And actually, when your logic becomes more complex and complex, it became a pain in the ass. And temporal, it takes this pain from you and manages all this stuff. You just have to write actually very simple code. And all this infrastructure code, it is hidden for you. You even don't care what happens.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. So you can even replace, so you don't replace a very big processing. Like, for example, if you want to upload a file with 10 gig file to like via some network, so you can't replace those parts of your code with the temporal, because temporal is it doesn't design to handle such big files. But to handle like simple steps, or not very simple like Sergey described, you can use temporal with easy. So, okay, I don't see a smile on your face, Pavel. Where are you? I guess you are not enjoying the event. Pavel is stressed, so please forgive it. So Pavel got a little stress. He's like on the first presentation, but yeah, Pavel, you are very strong.
Yeah, you're right.
Of course, I'm right. So, okay, guys, you can ask questions. You can ask question is in Russian, in English, in Polish. I guess in any language we have a Google Translate.
Or don't.
Pavel don't want to see any questions. Please, guys, one question for Pavel, or I have to ask him. Pavel, when you expect to release 3.0 for the Spiral framework?
In July, of course.
In July?
I
I
hope
bet you on
it
this.
will be July.
Give me the word. Give me the word.
Pavel, how many bugs are you going to have in your release?
Bugs?
Yeah.
You know, it's a difficult question.
-1.
I think there will be a lot of bugs, of course,
Thank you very
because
much, Pavel. And the end of.
it's quite difficult to to change PHP version.
But yeah, as for myself, I'm very excited to see a fibers inside the temporal. So Sergey will see this feature.
Nobody
Right
knows
after,
how to use fibers.
yeah,
Right?
nobody knows how to run a test server, and then after this feature, nobody knows how to run fibers.
Nice, nice. So yeah, PHP guys. So okay, guys. So if you don't have any questions, please feel free to join our Discord. Feel free to ask questions directly in our Discord server, in our Telegram channel, I guess in Russian, or in Discord in like Spiral, Roadrunner, or Temporal. Don't forget to ping us. And yeah, I guess that's it.
Good for me.
It's good for me that that's it. You're a lucky
Yeah,
guy that you don't have any questions here.
lucky dog.
I won't prepare for this. So I expected at least one question. Alexei, please give me him a shot.
Give us a sign.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much and have a great evening. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.